Why no masculine man wants an alpha female.
The term alpha female is just a nicer way of saying masculinized woman. A woman who leads, a woman who's strong, a woman who's intimidating. That's a man. A masculine man doesn't need or want any of those things in a woman. He wants a woman who's soft, a woman who's receptive, a woman who's vulnerable, a woman who's permissive, a woman who follows his lead. A masculine man wants a feminine woman.
A lot of women in this generation are like alpha females, and I think that scares off a lot of men.
That shit sounds so unattractive.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, when I hear a woman describe herself as an alpha, it just sounds unattractive. And I wouldn't want to. It sounds like a headache.
Wait, why? A headache is crazy.
You said scared. It just sounds like a turn off.
See, that's crazy.
I want a feminine woman. If you train as an alpha, that means you are exhibiting more of your masculine energy, and that's a turn off to me.
But
why no masculine man wants an alpha female?
Because they're actually betas. Because they want women that they feel are easier to control. Because they're not actually masculine men, they're just little boys. They also probably suck in bed.
Why no masculine man wants an alpha female?
Let me give you some insight, Zach, from an alpha woman. Every day we go out, we're making shit happen. We're strong, we're making decisions affecting people's lives. We don't hesitate to do that. We want to come home to an environment, to a partner that helps us feel safe, so that we don't have to be so strong, so that we can feel vulnerable, okay? And it's very hard to find for an alpha woman, because if we're already kicking ass in life, we want to meet a man who's at least higher, or at least bare minimum equal. We want to be able to be inspired by them, to look to them as well, instead of always being looked to for all the answers. So if you don't want an alpha woman, you're either saying, one, you can't provide that safe environment, or two, you're just not up there, buddy. So I understand you're trying to help people, coaching, I see it in your name, Zach, but just be careful about things that you say, especially when you don't have experience with an alpha woman.
Men do not want alpha women.
You don't want an alpha woman because you're intimidated. If women have to dial themselves down to make you feel like a strong man and alpha, then you just aren't one. Also, why do you want women who aren't confident and strong? Do you want someone that's easier to take advantage of? What does that say about you? To be clear, I don't really believe in the terms alpha and beta. I think they're silly. But I think that men mean a strong, confident woman who doesn't put up with their bullshit when they say an alpha woman. All I hear when men say this is, I don't want a partner. I want somebody to do my will and to mold. That's disgusting.
Men do not want alpha women. Alright guys, now let's get straight to it. Why are alpha...
So this is called a masculine inferiority complex. At least that's what I think it's called, and that's definitely what it feels like. The last thing I want is a woman to listen to everything I say, do everything I do, and basically be a puppy. If you're a man who wants that, you're just another product of the patriarchy and you just contribute to it. Also, I don't think men are losing their masculinity, so alpha women have to step up to the plate. That's probably one of the dumbest things and probably the most demeaning things I've heard towards both sexes. Women aren't finally stepping up to the plate. They're finally allowed to step up to the plate, which is fucking amazing, and it should be that way. I want a girl queen pussy boss. I want that. Shit, if you don't want a girl that wants to build an empire and share it with you, you're an idiot. If you want to be the alpha of the house, you're not a man. You're just insecure as fuck.
No masculine man wants an alpha female.
Psychologist here, and I'm going to try to be quick. Our society tends to define men's worth or their masculinity by how much they perform, how much they earn, and how much authority and power they have. So many men are often left feeling like they have to prove their worth by outperforming, as though masculinity is something that has to be earned and can very easily be lost. So for those men, what is it like when faced with a potential partner who is authoritative, decisive, a leader, an independent thinker, and not submissive? Well, it feels like a competition and a threat to their sense of self, their sense of self-worth, and their sense of identity. This video highlights a long-standing systemic problem that has historically resulted in the subjugation of women and contributes and maintains men's mental illness by making it difficult for them to reach out for help when they need it because it's interpreted as weakness and not masculine enough. This has to stop.
I know masculine man wants an alpha female.
Some of you guys really overestimate my willingness to send some food back. Who the fuck I was gonna tell a waiter that I ordered steak while I sit there with a mouthful of spaghetti? It ain't gonna be me. I'm already eating. I'd be like, yeah, this is awesome. You know, at the time, I didn't think this is what I wanted, but in retrospect, it's exactly what I wanted. Also, on a serious note, if you're afraid of your girlfriend or partner having a little bit of a personality and being able to stand up for herself, you're not very alpha. Like, can you really like picture that scenario? You know, like one of these guys that believes in like the alpha mentality literally needs his lady to like foster an environment where he can feel strong. I don't give two shits how alpha a lady is. You play with my hair while we watch anime, you can pick the restaurant.
Correction. No beta man wants an alpha female. Here's why. An alpha female wants an alpha male because naturally an alpha female is going to submit to the alpha male. So when a beta comes around to the alpha female, he wants her to submit, but he will not lead because a real leader is not going to be intimidated by someone who's there to be his partner. So when it's time for the beta to perform, they freak out, they become toxic, and they become narcissistic. They see the alpha female, they try to identify themselves through the alpha female, but they're not alphas. So let's correct it one more time. No beta male wants an alpha female.
Why no masculine man wants an alpha female?
The term
I keep seeing people ripping this dude up, and I get it, dude. But I actually want to offer a sincere response to this. So a couple things. Healthy human beings have both masculine and feminine qualities. One of the biggest issues that our society is having right now is the fact that men are so terrified of their feminine aspects that they've become sick. They've become really imbalanced. But in order to have intimacy and love, men need to be able to be vulnerable too. Men need to be able to exhibit softness. So the irony of what this guy is saying is that I am only in my masculine with men that I don't trust. If you're aggressive with me or domineering, you're gonna get my alter ego, bro. Because I can be a frat boy with the best of them if I need to be. But a man who is kind, and a man who is soft, and a man who is warm with me, a man who makes me feel safe, a man who listens, and a man who approaches me with respect and grace is going to get the soft part of me because I'm able to slow down and trust him. So all this video reminds me of is when Ben Shapiro basically admitted to the entire country that his wife's vagina was dry and that if your vagina was wet, there was something wrong with you. Bro, you are the reason your wife's vagina is dry. So to any guy out there, if the women that you're encountering on a regular basis are reacting to you in a way that you deem as masculine, meaning if she's coming back at you with aggressive energy, it's because she doesn't trust you. And likely it's because you came at her in an aggressive way in the first place. Aggressive men are not trustworthy, and we all know this. Men are one of the #1 causes of death for women under a certain age. We have to be really careful. And the last thing I'll say is the #1 thing that I notice is if a man is speaking about women in a disdainful way, yikes, like I stay the F away. If they're talking about their exes and saying that they're crazy, if they're speaking of them with disdain, if they're talking, basically everything that this guy just said, I would be like, holy shit, this guy is the biggest red flag I've ever seen. It just makes me sad because I know that there are guys out there that are listening to guys like this, and it's going to steer you so far away from the intimacy that you're actually looking for. I hope you'll reconsider.